If you're anything like most people, even whenever I first started my first company when I was a junior in high school, I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know, you know, why I should get an LLC or should it be an S corp or a C corp, any of that. I didn't come from a family of business people. I really want to share with you the three myths about opening an LLC. That there's a lot of information out there about LLCs and how to open them and where to open them and all kinds of stuff. And I want to share with you three myths that I constantly see time and time again that I have learned from, opening multiple LLCs, having multiple businesses, and really understanding. Now, obviously, I am not a lawyer, so anything that we talk about in this video is not legal advice. I always advise that you speak with a lawyer, speak with somebody that actually knows the laws, because laws change, vary state to state, and obviously if you're not in the US, they're completely different overseas. So make sure that you actually consult with a lawyer when you're going to be starting your LLC. So myth number one is that anybody can just open an LLC. Now, why is this a myth? So now the reason I put this down as a myth is because if you actually look at the way that LLCs are structured, you cannot open an LLC by yourself. You actually have to have at least one other person that is going to own stake in the business. Now, whenever I first got started, I thought that I could just go out and I can open an LLC because everybody says, oh, anybody can open an LLC. But that's not 100% true. Like I said, you are going to have at least one other person with you. And if you only have one person, then it's a partnership, right? It's still an LLC, but it's considered a partnership. Now, when it comes to your LLC, you can have as many people as you want, which are usually considered managing members, and they own a part of the business. Now, when you're setting this up, you can do it, if it's you and one other person, it could be, 50-50. It could be you own 99% of it and that other person owns 1% of it, right? And so on and so forth as you continue to add people. Now, you can do this in percentages or pieces of the business is how it's usually broken up. Myth number two is that you can open it anywhere. Now, when I was first getting started, you always read these articles about how you can open an LLC anywhere and that you don't have to open your LLC in the state that you're living. And this is true, except there is a little caveat to this, right? You may have gone and looked and seen that so many people are like, oh, you should open it in Delaware because they have a court system and they have all this stuff and it's very pro-business there, or, Nevada because you don't have to pay out-of-state tax, and all kinds of things, right? If you are operating the business in a different state, so for example, let's say that we open our LLC in New York, but we currently live in California and we're working on the business in California. Now, what happens here is you actually now have to register that business also in California. And usually what they call this is a foreign LLC or a foreign declaration, basically that the business is in New York, but business is also being done in California. And why is this? Well, realistically, in the US, anywhere where you are physically doing the work, you have to have an LLC in that state because that state gets its portion of those taxes. Now, this is a really, really big misconception. So I see so many people starting a business in, like I said, Delaware or Washington or one of these really good states to start an LLC, but where they run into problems is since they don't live there, and let's say they're doing e-commerce, for example, and they're sitting at home doing their e-commerce stuff, and they live, in Arizona or Texas or Colorado or anywhere where the LLC is not registered, you're actually operating your business illegally. You don't want to do that. So that's why I always recommend whatever state you are going to be doing business in, that is where you want your LLC. Right? Now, if you move, you may be able to transfer domestic location to the new state that you're currently living in and operating your business. Why would you want to open your business in another state? Now, usually this is for big companies like Facebook, Google, McDonald's, any of those where they already know they're going to have national chains all over the place and they're going to have to open LLCs in pretty much every single state. What happens is, by having your domestic, where it originates, your domestic LLC in one of these states like Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming, where you get a court system or you don't have to pay certain taxes or it's very friendly, that's where it benefits. Now, when you're just starting out, you're not actually going to see any of the benefits of this. You may actually get into worse trouble than just starting your LLC in the state that you are doing business in. And now number 3, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see, is that the name of your business has to also be the name of your LLC. Now, when I first started, this is what kept me from creating an LLC, because I didn't know that whatever the name was of my LLC didn't actually have to be the name of the business that I wanted to start. Because one is, I'm really bad about coming up with names for businesses. I'm just bad at coming up with names in general. So I didn't ever start my LLC because I was like, well, I don't know what the name of my business is going to be, right? And I just postponed it. But the thing is, you can actually have one LLC that goes by a bunch of different names, right? And what you would fill out in order to do that is a DBA, or doing business as, and that allows you to change the actual name on the LLC. So when you're first starting out, I always recommend, if you're going to be testing out a business idea or you're not sure what your business name is going to be, just create what I call a generic LLC, and then you file a DBA once you've come up with a name or you're testing a business. Now, a good example of this is if you actually look at Abercrombie & Fitch, the big clothing brand, the LLC is actually Abercrombie & Fitch is the company, but it has DBAs as Hollister, Gilly Hicks, and it has all these different names that it goes by, but they're all operated under one LLC, or I believe in their case, they're a C corporation and they have DBAs. So that's where the term an umbrella company comes into play. Their actual LLC S Corp corporation name is this, and then they have all these other businesses that branch off of that one registered business. So you may have multiple different businesses that may be in multiple different areas that are using one EIN number or under one big company name. I hope these 3 myths really have helped you understand a little bit more about LLCs and some of the misconceptions of information that are out there, because I know when I first started, I wish that I would have known these few things when starting my first LLC. I've had multiple LLCs since then, and I've really learned a lot about them. Now, like I said, make sure that you talk with a lawyer, make sure you go through a company or somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to all of the legal side of this. Like I said, this is not legal advice in any way. And we actually use just LegalZoom when creating our LLCs, changing stuff over, doing any of that. They do an amazing job. If you haven't heard of them, I don't know where you've been, but we'll leave a link to LegalZoom in the description below as a resource for you guys. I really hope that this helps you in getting started on creating your LLC here in the future. What I would actually love for you guys to do is, if you are a business or you're getting ready to start a business, I would love to know what your business is and what you do, and maybe we may be able to help you out. So go ahead and write that in the comment section of this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.